Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to this beautiful Thursday, February 1st, 2024. I don't keep track of time and dates so much these days that when I was saying that, I was like, do I know the date and time? So thank you for joining us. We have a very powerful conversation coming your way. You're definitely going to want to tune into this, pay attention to it, listen all the way through. Catch the replay, all the things. Samuel and I were speaking briefly before this, and we both share a passion and a purpose and a strong intention to uplift as many people as we can. And my primary audience, I guess this really is of service to both men and women. But our intention is to share some experiences and a dialogue that has been, was a very challenging experience. So for Samuel, he had many, like just back-to-back deaths in his family, and went through a deep process. And one of the things that I'm passionate about, and I know is a part of my purpose from many years of exploration, is empowering in many ways. But one of those ways is how to allow life to happen as it does, even in the midst of literally the perfect storm that Samuel's going to tell you about that will blow your mind. And to witness where he's been able to come since then. And a part of what I'm here to do is because I've been through many similar perfect storms, and it's just part of my makeup that how do we navigate these super intense life experiences and grow from them, move through them with the greatest ease and grace, and actually receive the lessons and the gifts and the beauty of it, and come out the other side stronger, more capable, more empowered, and more aligned than ever before, and to free up all that energy to channel towards our passion, our purpose, our zone of genius, and all that we value and love most, especially in the relationship realm where all success is rooted. So you're going to learn some very, very powerful things if you tune in and pay attention. Encourage you to be very present, because this is destined to be a very powerful conversation between two men who've been through hell and back a few times, and who have learned a few things, and who have created being incredibly blessed, and now have the desire to share those gifts, those blessings, those insights, to pass them on to you. I'm Christopher John Stubbs, founder of Men of Sovereignty and the Wolf Pack, as well as The Initiation, a live event experience. And I help men and women to thrive in their health, their spirituality, their finances, their relationships, and to create a life that they love, that's in alignment and harmony within, where they effortlessly attract to them the best life possible, and that we become the bearers of light, the bearers of goodness, the ones who make the world what we wish it to be. And I have a future-based vision of creating just wonderful families and a beautiful environment and future for all. Sorry, I got a yard work guy I'm in Costa Rica, and the guy's out here working on my stuff, and he's trying to get my attention. I'm like, I'm not available right now, dude. And he's like, okay, I got it. So I've overcome some major things. I've accomplished some major things. I came from a life of hell. I'm living a life of the highest heaven I've experienced so far, and expanding further into that. Samuel has a very similar story. In fact, we're quite kindred spirits and souls who have known each other since youth, and he probably has one of the most similar stories and life experiences and outcomes to me as anyone I've ever met. So looking forward to having Samuel share and us share this dialogue. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And Samuel, thank you for being here and taking the time. I know you're very busy, and I just honor your heart and your desire to serve and give back. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm here to share. I'm here to serve.
Beautiful. Thank you. So will you start in by telling us about this perfect storm that I'm calling it that. You didn't call it that, but whatever it was for you, will you tell us about it?
Yeah. So I'm, just living my life more, just a regular Joe out working his ass off, thinking that that's what, dads are supposed to do. Married men, just work your ass off, come home, um, check out in front of the TV, as long as all the bills are paid for, the yard work's done, everything's good. We're just, making a life for everybody. And, I, I found out my older brother had cancer and he died pretty quickly. And it was kind of a shock to me. I hadn't experienced any death yet. And, get through that with the family. And 2 months after that, I get a phone call, and my brother and his wife were traveling in Mexico, and they had been murdered over there. Brutally pulled out of their vehicles and shot on the side of the road and left there. And that was a bit of a shock to our entire family, but had experienced a lot of anger, a lot of sadness. And anyway, my marriage was struggling at the time. I wasn't sure how to fix it, wasn't sure what to do, going through all this grief, the sadness. I wasn't going to do anything. This time my dad was getting sick. And so a couple months after my brother passed, I'm heading over to sit with my dad as he takes his last breaths for transitioning from this life to the next. And I come home to take a break. And while I'm home, my wife comes to me and tells me that she no longer wants to be married. And at this point, I'm just thinking, like, what the fuck? Like, can you just wait a day? Like, I'm not sure I can put any energy or thought into this. And anyway, so go sit with my father, and he passes, and that's trying to be present with that. But really the thing that's weighing the hardest on me is this divorce, or this not wanting to be married anymore. And but I'm fucking strong. I'm like, I'm gonna get through any of this, and I'm gonna do it on my own. I don't need nobody. I don't need, I'll take care of myself. All the bullshit stories that we tell. So anyway, get through the funeral with my father. Week after that, my younger brother, I get a call, and they found him dead in a rehab center that he was starting. He'd been clean for four years, and he was over in Denver starting a rehab facility for other men and women that were struggling with the same addiction. And he was super close to my dad, and he just couldn't take the idea of him dying, and he relapsed. And because he'd been sober for so long, he took too much, and they found him dead on the floor there. And so when I got this call, this was the moment where everything was just more than I could take on my own. And I fell onto the floor, and I just started sobbing. And that was the moment that I started this process of refinding myself. And through the process of this is, somebody, I was talking with another brother, and he's like, "Hey, I got a book for you." And I'm like, fuck, another person with another fucking book to fix me, and I'm just like, I don't want to read another book, but this book just had something for me that I felt like there was something there. So I turned it on, and I started listening to it. And within 5 minutes, I had a complete transcendental experience. I was off this planet, wherever I was, and I was being held and shown that everything was going to be okay. And that, in that moment, I decided that there was nothing that was going to get in my way, and I would do whatever it took. I would learn whatever I had to learn. I would do whatever I had to do to get through this, to get on the other side, and to see the vision that I saw when I was being held. And so that's been a long process, but it's one I would not fucking trade. It has made me into the man that I am today.
I've got a lot of energy moving through my body. I'm honoring how you've navigated it, how you're sharing it, who you've become in the process. I'm surrendering to life as it is and the way that life and God work. Um, it's just that's one of the most intense back to back experiences I've ever heard. So appreciating you and honoring you deeply. More recently, so we've been working together in the Men of Sovereignty for a while, and more recently, so you navigated all that, and you know, between yourself and God and life and all the serendipity that took place, you were given what were needed. And then at some point you joined the Men of Sovereignty with me, and you were doing well and the best. I was in the best place in a lot of ways that I've been, and you were in the best place in a lot of ways you've been, but we also were having the challenges we were having. And we've been navigating together for like 2.5 years or something in the Men of Sovereignty group. And in like the last 6 months or something, you and I have stumbled onto some things that have changed everything for us in the most dramatic way. Would you be willing to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'd love to. Before I do that, I wanted to say something about my former wife, and that I owe her a huge debt of gratitude for having the courage to stand up and say no more. I'm not willing to live with a little boy, with somebody that is just looking for his mother to take care of him. And so I owe her a debt of gratitude. So anyway, 6 months ago, that's about when it started for me. I'd been making a lot of progress, but something shifted, and I had been doing a lot of our practices 5 days a week. Kind of a weekday guy. Save the weekends for me. I'm not gonna don't need to exercise on the weekends. Don't need to meditate. Don't need to do any of the things. And something just said, you're selling yourself short, dude. There's something in this. And so I decided that I was no longer going to be a weekday guy. This was going to be a part of who I am. And so I committed to doing these practices daily, and not because I needed to, but because I wanted to be something different. And so I took a look at who I currently was, and I compared that man to the person that I want to be. And there was nothing the same. And so I have started to imagine the person that I want to be, and I use that as my drive to do these things. So this isn't about having to or willpowering through this. This is a doing the process so that I can be the man that I desire to be. And when I made that shift, everything in my life has turned. Like, it's better than I could imagine. It's better than I've, a lot of the external things haven't changed. Some of them have, but mostly it's how I feel inside. I already feel like everything has shifted and changed. So that has just been powerful for me.
So beautiful and powerful. So I'll cue you up in a minute. I'm going to share a few things to add some context for everybody. But in a moment, if you're willing to speak about your $10 million man experience, I think that would be helpful for the audience. But before we go there, we have a very powerful men's group where we strive to be as authentic as we can be, as honest as we can be, as supportive and caring and present and emotionally intelligent and strong and gritty and disciplined and all, we're just avid students of becoming and embodying the greatest version of ourselves. And we've been dedicated to that as a group for 2.5 years. I've done men's work for decades, almost 2 decades now. And I've been in others men's groups, I've facilitated men's groups, but nothing even close to the level of camaraderie, community, tribe, accountability, growth, expansion, success, flow, all the things. The level of emotional intelligence, the level of dedication, the level of commitment, the level of integrity, the level of love, the level of commitment to evolution and success and true wealth in thriving in our health, our spirituality, our relationships, our finances. I've never seen or experienced anything like this anywhere. And one of the most, one of our amazing members challenged all of us to something called the Iron Mind Challenge, where we committed to start with 20 minutes morning and night meditations and to add 10 minutes per month to that, up to 60 minutes. And a handful of us took that challenge on and began going through it. Well, I had been studying rites of passage for years. I'd been studying transmutation. I'd been studying surrender. I'd been studying the work of Michael Singer and the work of Yogananda. And then later on, I started studying the work of Joe Dispenza. And in our group, not only do we hold each other's to our highest and hold each other in our lowest in a good way, we also share resources, books and podcasts and connections and networks and anything and everything we can to rise each other up. One of the quotes that's on a lot of these Wolfpack shirts is "strong alone, stronger together." And some of the things that we're mitigating are lone wolf syndrome and nice guy syndrome and anti-masculinity and the destruction and undermining of relationships and families and communities and culture. And there's a lot of things that we're a stand for, and that we are being the change we wish to see around. But something happened in this Iron Mind Challenge that was initiated from a member of the group that catapulted many of us on a new trajectory, which later catapulted all of us on a new trajectory in varying levels. And a combination of the rites of passage and the deep ancient meditation techniques of the most powerful meditation techniques I've ever come across after 20 years of meditating and teaching meditation and attending meditation workshops and all the things, I began to experience the greatest transformation of my life. And many of the men in my circles are having a similar experience. I would dare say all, just in varying degrees. Sam took this on full force, and to witness what's happening for me and what's happening for him is very, very exciting, very, very fulfilling, and one of the greatest blessings of my life, and I feel likely for Samuel's as well. And so I'm now guiding men through 4 rites of passage: the warrior, the lover, the wizard, and the king. And what we've found is the warrior is the gateway to the others. And it's not a warrior that's macho. It's not a warrior who is egotistical. He's a warrior of love, and he's a warrior of stillness. He's a warrior of integrity and truth and trustworthiness and discipline and follow through, while also kindness and love and soft in all the right ways and hard in all the right ways, or firm in all the right ways. And so this big thing has happened, and as a part of that experience, we've started to access what feels like magic, and it ties to getting into such heightened states of joy and peace and love and truth and wisdom and empowerment and connectedness and inspiration and clarity that we're creating faster and easier than we ever had. It's almost more like God's creating through us, or life is creating through us. And it's just a beautiful thing to experience and have flow through us. And so Samuel, in one of these moments, you can tell it in his words because he'll be able to tell it much better than me, but to set the stage, I think he was in a meditation and he connected with, hey, embody your future self, embody your highest self now, stop waiting. some version of this. He can clarify when I give him the floor. And so he knew, because when you get in these states, you receive, and instead of it being thinking anymore, there's a knowing. Instead of it being, oh, that's an interesting thought, it's more like being in the Matrix and saying, hey, I want to learn how to fly that helicopter in the next 10 seconds. Download it now. And there's a knowingness. It's not a, oh, maybe that's a good, it's like a, okay, got it. Thanks. Like orders from the highest chain of command, like with all the instructions. It's just like fucking right now. And I know it. No question, no doubt about it. There's a big difference between this knowingness versus a hope or a faith or a thinking. It's just a straight up instant knowingness. At least that's my experience. So Samuel, if you're willing, tell us about the $10 million man experience and what that's done for you.
So I was listening to a gentleman talk, and I've heard all of it before, but the way that this man said it just took something and shifted it inside. And he said, the life that you're experiencing in this moment right now is based from a frequency that you hold. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is the way it is. And if you want to experience something different, then you need to hold a different frequency. And when he said that in that way, something in my head triggered, and I was like, holy shit, I've heard this, but it's always been like, they use like 50 different words for the same thing. And so what I did was I used the contrast of my current life against the contrast of what it would feel like if I had $10 million. So I said, this current version is the six-figure man. And he lives a pretty damn good life. But if I wanted to be a $10 million man, how would that man walk? How would that man talk? How would that man treat other people? What is that man's confidence level? What are the things that he does, and how does he feel when he does them? And so I started feeling what that felt like. And that version was nothing like the current version. And so what I did was, because we've been doing this rite of passage, the meditation process was very easy for me to get into a place of stillness where I could empty out all of the belief systems, the shoulds, the coulds, the woulds, everything that I think I ought to do, and I empty that out. And then once that is emptied and the vessel is clear, then I pulled in the frequency of that $10 million man, and I started to embody that frequency inside of myself. And what I noticed was an immediate shift, because I took on the traits of that $10 million man. When I walked into the rooms where we were having meetings, I was not the other version. I was not the six-figure version. I was the $10 million version. My shoulders were back. I looked at people different. I had my eyes to their eyes. The confidence level was different, and I treated them with respect, and the results were immediate. And so it's not about the money. It's about the frequency, or the being able to tap into what that feels like. And I use money because that's the most universally known language that triggers emotion. And so that's one of the reasons why I use that. But I've noticed that there are so many shifts in my life that I have not had to change based on willpower. These are things that are shifting like almost in an instant, things that I thought I would never be able to overcome, where all of a sudden it doesn't align with who I am anymore. And so those things just fall away. I've struggled with nicotine for 20 years. And in this last 6 months, it was just like, okay, I'm done. And it just didn't feel aligned with who I'm being anymore. I was able to follow, just falls off. And it's a beautiful process of when you do this, this rite of passage, this warrior rite of passage, like you said it's not about being macho. It's truly about being able to learning how to create for yourself. And when you can do that and create for yourself, and you have the ability to go back into stillness when things start falling apart, that is home. It's like going home when that is the preferred place. That is the magic. That is where the magic happens. And if you can do that, anything can be going on in your life and you can always go home and be held. That has been my experience over the last 6 months, and it's been magic, absolute magic.
So beautiful and powerful. Thank you for sharing. So for the viewers out there, Samuel, speaking in reference to your experience of being a part of the men's group, Men of Sovereignty, for those that are called to be in the Wolf Pack or Men of Sovereignty or in our field, I would love to have the right ones come join. But for even those who maybe get a lot of value from this, but don't resonate with my body of work or working with me or buying my shit or participating in my programs, what would you say regardless to men out there who are maybe still being a lone wolf, think they can do it all on their own, or maybe are on the fence, like, yeah, I really know there's some powerful things going on there, or I'm drawn to a men's group, but not this one. Men out there who don't have what you have as a community and a support group and a program that has assisted so greatly, what would your message be to them about having that community, allowing iron to sharpen iron, and surrounding themselves in an environment that is optimally conducive to the life of their highest choosing?
I don't think I could oversell it. The amount of connection that I have with the men that are in this Men of Sovereignty group, I would let them take my kids. There is nothing that I would not hand over to them, from my finances to anything that I own, I would hand over and feel completely at peace knowing that it was in their hands. You can't build that from being a lone wolf. You can't build that type of connection. You can't build the kind of resources that you have available to you through those type of connections. And your net worth is equal to your network. I've heard that one before.
Another way I've heard it is networks trump net worth any day of the week.
Yeah, that's good. The love and compassion that I've felt and experienced from these men, you got plenty of time to do the lone wolf thing. But if you have a pack that you can come back to, like, go on your journey, go on your little, whatever, your rendezvous, but knowing that you have a pack to come home to have your back, that is priceless.
Mm-hmm.
That is priceless.
Not only have your back, but constantly be inspired up, constantly be called up, constantly be called out sometimes, constantly be encouraged, constantly be shown where you're off a little bit, constantly be given resources that allow your success faster and easier. The levels that it happens, and there's 3 elements to success from this dynamic is skill sets, mindsets, and environments. And so anything that we want, we are meant to have, as we are purified in a way that we can yield that power in a good way. But we have to also align with the principles that predicate that blessing that we desire. So if you want a great relationship, instead of blaming life or your partner or your parents, it's likely that if you don't have it, you don't have the skill sets, the mindsets, and the environment to produce it. If you're not making the kind of money you want, it's likely that either your skill sets, your mindsets, or your environment are hindering that. And so it's powerful to know that, because we can shift from being a victim to a creator. Because any one of us, once we acknowledge the results in my life are what I'm committed to, I have created them, I'm 100% responsible for the results that I have, and I'm 100% responsible for the results that I want. And commitment is the first step to every worthy journey. So I'll get clarity on where I want to be, commit to it. Then I'll be hit with counter commitments. And then it's how I respond to those that matters most. And in it, I'm going to have to overcome those counter commitments. And what I need to do that is the right skill sets, the right mindsets, and the right environments. And so the best environments we can possibly put ourselves in is key. Just like if I was to grow a garden, I need to give it everything that it needs. Well, you're the garden of your life. You are the seed of your life. You are the potential. You are the seed, the potential. And you have the potential to grow into the greatest version of yourself. But if you don't give yourself the skill sets, the mindsets, and the environment to do that, it's like the difference between me planting that seed and giving it everything it needs, could possibly need, and protect it from anything that could take away from its full potential expression, or just tossing it on the concrete on my back porch and seeing what happens. And so it's critical. And we've factored all those things in after decades of transformation and inner work and all the things, and coaching and guiding from where I was along the way. We've got a program and a system and a process that is the most refined version yet, with the most powerful tools and environment and process ever yet, and continuing to be refined. And it's delivering results at least 10 times faster than I've ever been able to in the past, or that I've seen anyone else do. And so we've implemented that both in the Wolf Pack and Men of Sovereignty. It's the most amazing experience I've ever had in my own life, as well as witnessing it unfold in the lives of those who are participating and not sitting on the sidelines. So if we talk into the psychology of the viewer that may be going, yeah, that's great, it worked for them, but will it work for me? I don't know if I could pull that off because I don't have the time. I don't know if I could make that happen because I don't have the money. I don't know if my wife will let me participate in that because she already says I work too much and I don't spend enough time with her. Whatever those things that are coming up in his head, what would you say to those things?
Well, I would speak to me, the other version, the former version of me, when I say this. Look what it cost me. Look what I had to go through because I was so fucking stubborn and I wouldn't choose. Look what I had to experience to get to where I wanted to go. So you can do it the easier way, or you can do it the fucking hard way, or you can not do it at all. Those are the three options. Like, and for me, like, I'm glad I went through it my way, but man, I would not want anybody else to go through that. I would not wish that on anybody. I would say that I don't know. I have a hard time putting words on it. It's so vital to where we're going, where this earth is going, where all of the people. If you want to be able to take care of those that you love, you got to be able to take care of yourself. And that was the piece I was missing. I didn't know how to take care of me.
Mm-hmm. So as you shared that, what come up for me is to speak to, we're in a time in history where there's a lot of fucking chaos, a lot on the line. We're at a rate of change in the world that is by far faster than anything we've ever have in recorded history thus far. And I've read some statistics that say by the year 2026, we will be at a rate of change 10 times faster than now. And by the year 2040 something, it'll be another 100 times faster than what it is now. And so if anyone's out there watching this and you're already feeling like, oh my God, the world's going to hell in a handbasket between politics and world wars and social division and family destruction and relationship chaos and sex slavery, and we could go on and on and on about all the happy horse shit that's going on out there. And there's so, like, I literally just scratched the bucket, and just the things I've dropped already is like, wow, fuck, intense. And I believe we're in a time where it's going to get even worse. It's going to get even more challenging. You have AI that's going to change the world in such a dramatic way beyond what the internet has done that we have no idea. It could, in some ways, it could help us create a much better world, and in some ways, it could destroy the whole motherfucker. We don't know. We don't know. But what we do know is that it's not about controlling what we can't control. It's about being so damn connected and centered and prepared and to navigate and pivot and adapt It's the future don't go to the learned, it goes to the learning. And so we must be able to adapt faster than ever. We must come into center and power and clarity and inspiration and be directed continuously. We must be on path, on course, and on purpose. We must evolve into the greatest version of ourselves. It's the 11th fucking hour based on results, like religious, not religious, believe in spiritual shit, don't believe in spiritual shit. Turn on the news for 5 fucking minutes. And if it doesn't inspire you, instead of like going, oh shit, we're fucked, it's not about the fear. Let it be about inspiring the fuck out of you to step up, become the greatest version of yourself. And there's going to be a whole lot of people that are going to be in need. And there were, first off, from a love perspective, a whole lot of people are going to need a place to stay, some food to eat, some sanctuary, some safety, some positive environment to navigate their own fears and pains and losses. And then from, I hesitate to say this because inevitably there will be somebody watching out there saying, oh, you capitalist pig. But there were more millionaires created during the Great Depression than any other time in history. And I'm not talking about needing to capitalize on the pain. I'm saying it's an inevitable law that value follows value. The law of reciprocation, what you put out comes back, and it comes back multiplied. And so if you prepare yourself to be of service, to solve problems, to help people solve their problems, to provide sanctuary, to provide truth, to provide comfort and encouragement and empowerment, and all the fucking needs that are already here and long upon us and long overdue, let alone what's fucking coming, you will be tremendously blessed. And we can even destroy the whole fucking money system, because that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, there's two principles at least involved in this. There's some others, but I'll accentuate two. One is value follows value, or the law of reciprocation, and exchange creates wealth. And that don't mean we're trading goods and services for money. It's like we're exchanging fucking conversation. We're exchanging truth. We're exchanging wisdom. So the more we exchange goodness, the more wealthy we become. Right? The more we come together like this in meaningful conversations instead of conversations about surface level shit, the more informed and integrated we become. And so there's many principles involved here, but there's an opportunity for us to prepare ourselves to navigate whatever the fuck is to come, and not need to control any of it, but to be able to adapt and pivot and adjust and actually have a joyful experience and peaceful and thriving experience throughout it all, as well as to be of the highest service to all those in need. And so that's what the fuck I'm calling forth. That's what we're up to in the Men of Sovereignty. That's what we're up to in the Wolf Pack. There's ways to gain access. There's a freeway. Meaning not a highway freeway, but there's I'm here to serve everybody, whether you pay me or not. So I have Facebook groups. I have Ignite Intimacy, that's for relationship health and thriving, for free, where I share free resources all the time. I have Prosperity Playground, where I share things about how to thrive and be truly prosperous and create true wealth for yourself and your health, your spirituality, your finances, your relations. This is free. I have the Wolf Pack, which is a men's only group. These other two are men and women. This one's for men only, because it's important that men have a time to just be men and women have a time to just be women. And then we come back together to integrate the lessons that happen when we're together. So there's an infinite abundance of free resources to say, hey, I don't care your income level, I'm here to serve. And then there's paid versions where we say, yeah, I'll dedicate full on to your success in all these ways and give you everything I've got and surround you in an environment that will absolutely fucking change your life if you do the work. And that's what I'm up to. And so if you aren't a member of those groups, I encourage you to become a member. Just go find them. Ignite Intimacy, Prosperity Playground, and the Wolf Pack. But the Wolf Pack's for men only, but women, you're welcome in the other ones. Now, inside the Wolf Pack, we are doing, and I'm offering, It's literally the most valuable thing I've ever come across after 30 years of personal development and over $1 million invested is this warrior rite of passage. It's the greatest change I've ever experienced in my life, and I'm fucking offering it free. You're going to access it for free only in the Wolfpack. It's a free group, and it's the greatest resource in my life, and I'm giving it for free in honor of the law of reciprocation, in honor of my mission and purpose to change your life and change as many lives as I can. So my invitation, join the groups. If you haven't done the Warrior Rite of Passage, it's a challenge. It's just a 44-day challenge. It's simple. It's just meditation. It's easier than all the other challenges out there. It's simple, and it's easy, and it's fucking hard because you're wrestling with your own demons in your own mind to find stillness to change your entire fucking life. But it's simple. You're in the comfort of your own home. You're in a comfortable posture, and you're sitting on a cushion probably, and the air conditioning's on, and you just give yourself a few minutes here and there to complete this thing, and it changes your life. And so it's very profound. So I'm inviting you all to take action and change your life. Samuel laid out, you have a few choices. Do nothing. The only thing I would add to what he said, it's going to get shitty or it's going to get great. You can do something about it. You can not do anything about it, and it's going to stay how it is or get worse. You can do nothing, and then it's going to be how it is or worse. Or you can just say, no, I value and love myself, and I want to be on the up climb, not the down climb. I want to be of service, not a part of the fucking chaos. So I'm going to fucking do something about it. And I'm giving you an offer to do something about it for free. And I'll be honest, my hope is that after you do that for free and you experience the tremendous value, that you'll say, fuck yeah, I want to pay you money and join your paid group because I'm ready to take the fast track. But if you don't do that, it's my fucking honor and joy to change your life in every way that I can, whether you give me money or not. So we're about to wrap, Samuel. Are there any last words you'd like to say in relation to everything that's been shared?
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you to you, Christopher, for always being an amazing friend to me. We've known each other for a lot of years, since we were 10, and I have always admired and looked up to you. And when you started the Men of Sovereignty group 2.5 years ago, it was not even a question for me whether I would be willing to go into that. You've always been absolutely in integrity with me. I've never experienced anything other than that. And so for me, it was just a no-brainer to go there. The last thing I would say is for people that are, sitting on the outside, not having been through the rite of passage, it's not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your fault. This has been a lost thing to society for a lot of years. Mm-hmm. And when I realized that it wasn't my fault and that there was something that I could do about it, that I could take ownership of this and that I could instill this into my life so that I can pass it onto my children and they can pass it on to theirs, and we can change the world through just this one simple piece. When we have the capacity to hold ourselves, we have the capacity to hold the world. It's that simple.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Samuel.
You're welcome.
I love you, and the honor and appreciation and gratitude and respect is mutual over here. You've been such a blessing in my life, and I am so grateful for our friendship.
Thank you, Christopher.
Have a great rest of the day, brother.
I certainly will. See you.